And yes, we are doing exactly that, celebrating women this month of March. International Women's Day was March 8th, and we continue to celebrate women for the entire month of March. And we are so excited because we have with us Shannon Hutchinson, who is a pilot as well as an artist and an entrepreneur, but I'm holding on to the pilot part.
And also a philanthropist.
Right, yes.
Yes.
So welcome back to the program.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me,
Yes.
especially as it's also Women's History Month. So
Yes.
I appreciate being back again. Thank you so much.
And as a pilot, you know, this is Generation Equality. That's the theme, realizing women's rights this year. And you're a pilot. Well, I remember many years ago, probably people like Wendy Orchin, in her time, it was just a handful, maybe 3. And there are perhaps more female pilots now.
Yes.
But what would be the ratio right now, would you say?
Well, back when Captain Yao Ching started flying, there was probably only about 2%. And now women account for less than 6% of airline pilots globally.
No, that's still a very male-dominated.
It's still very low, yes, and it's still very surprising when I go to the airport and I'm in my full uniform with my hat and my jacket and everything, and people don't think I'm a pilot. But
what do they think you're doing?
I don't know, but I have a really great sense of humor about it. So it's daily. And I mean, I started flying with the airline 10 years ago, and I would say every day that I go to work, I get you're not a pilot. You know?
Really?
Yeah. That's pretty normal. A normal day for me.
What is it like actually working though with your colleagues and so? Because are you a captain?
I'm not. I'm a first officer on the 737.
Okay,
Caribbean Airlines.
Right. But what is it like interacting with other team members, male, female, female, female? What is it like being a female
great.
pilot?
I'm treated as an equal. We are equals in our airline and in all airlines. We're all treated equally. We're paid equally. Our system is by rank, by seniority.
Right.
So
it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah. I'm one of I think there's at least 12 of us now.
Yes.
2 captains and many first officers with Caribbean Airlines.
So from your experience, sorry to cut you off, Lisa. From your experience, do you think there were any limiting factors that would discourage women from wanting to go into a career as a pilot?
Well, we are discouraged. And we spoke about me being an artist earlier, and of course my story is a unique one. But when I was in high school, and of course I'd started showing my work when I was 14, and I had solo shows when I was 15, and I was given scholarships to study art when I was 17, and I went to my guidance counselor and I said, you know, I think I want to be a pilot. He straight up told me no. He's like, Shannon, artists don't become pilots. And I was discouraged from many angles, you know. So I guess that the message is to not let people tell you no. If there's a dream that you have and that you have to follow it, you know. Because if I'd listened to people, I wouldn't have studied art. And I also wouldn't have become a pilot, and of course I'm doing both.
You have that left brain, right brain thing going on.
I have the left brain, right brain. Yes, I know it's very confusing for a lot of people.
No, I get it completely.
I make it work. Yeah.
That dovetails nicely into my question that I asked young Kayla earlier this week. And I wanted both of you on at the same time, you know, so we
I couldn't come on Monday.
But that's fine. We have you here now. As a young woman, do you perceive yourself as equal to, less than, or superior to the male gender? But why? The question is why? Whether, you know.
I consider myself equal because my ability is equal to my peers. That's it.
Easy, yeah. And do you, you know, like persons would ask me, how do you see yourself as a woman in business or a woman in film? If I ask you that question, how would you respond as a woman pilot? How do you see yourself?
Well, as a female pilot as well as a successful artist, I've become a mentor, and it wasn't something that I sought out to be or to do, but it's something that I really enjoy doing. So I'm actually part of one of the Forte Under Forte influencers.
That's true, yes.
And the Honourable Minister Shamfa Kujo and the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs have developed a Forte Under Forte youth program that promotes positive change with our youth, and we go and speak to a lot of the secondary schools and mentor the students, and I really appreciate and enjoy doing that work now.
Exactly. You're in my head, Shannon. You're in my head, because my next question is how can young women stake their claim in society? What message do you give to the young girls when you go out there?
I reach for your dreams and go forward fearlessly towards your dreams, because just as I was told that I could not fly, or maybe art isn't a career, you can't let people tell you no. So you have to pursue your dreams fearlessly.
Okay.
And how much did you have to fight, when you come up, not only not, but, going into the industry of being a pilot? How much did you have to fight to actually get into a position, get into a job and stuff in that industry?
It was tough. I finished my pilot's license in 2001, and I was 17, 18, and 9/11 happened, so there were no jobs. And that's when I took the opportunity to go back to university and study art, and I studied art in Canada. And I did my thesis in Italy, and that's where I got my bachelor's. And I came home, and the other thing that I tell young people is not to be afraid to start at the very bottom, because that's what I had to do. I waited 7, 8 years to get a job, and I worked on the ground. I was delivering water to the planes and food vouchers to the pilots. I was working in crew scheduling. Yeah. I worked for Tobago Express, and then we were bought by Caribbean Airlines, and I worked in crew scheduling for almost a year. And it's nice, because I know all the different layers, all the different levels, and I was hired as a pilot.
And all of this time you were already qualified as a pilot?
I was, yeah. I got my license when I was 17, 18, my full commercial multi-IFR.
I think that's such an important point, Shannon, because so many people think that, I qualify, I'm a university graduate, and I deserve, I'm entitled to.
I know, but I do have a little bit of a maybe controversial question. Have you spoken to any men in the industry that would have had to start at the bottom like you did?
Yeah, I know quite a few that waited longer than I did, and that's part of our industry. It's cyclical, so some guys got the job right away. They got straight out of flight school, and they got on to, and they're flying an ATR with, straight out of flight school. And then there's some of us, I waited 7 years. I know someone that waited 10 years, and he was a carpenter. I know someone else that got into radio. So yeah, a lot of us have done many other things while we're waiting for our dream job to fly, and it's one of those careers that you have to have a passion for it, and if you want it, you got to wait and kind of fight for it as well.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Well, Shannon, you're such an inspiration. We could chat with you all morning.
I could chat with you guys all morning too. I love being here. Thank you for having me.
You're wonderful. We're going to have you back again. Maybe you can come do some art for us.
I would love that.
Right?
I would love that.
All right, Shannon Hutchinson, pilot, artist, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. Our guest this morning as we celebrate women here for International Women's Month. And